Let's talk about weeding because it doesn't have to take over your life or ruin your love for gardening. I figured out a few simple habits that keep my garden mostly weed free without spending hours weeding the garden. Tip number one, prevent weed seeds before they even start and sprout. The easiest weed to deal with is one that doesn't even get a chance to grow. I like to use a thick layer of mulch to block the sunlight. Sometimes I'll use newspaper or cardboard, and then if you feel fancy, put a layer of mulch on top of that, and that will prevent the seeds from growing. Sometimes they'll sprout, but eventually without that sun that they require, they'll die off. Mulch isn't the only way to smother weeds, and this leads us to tip number two, which is to grow more plants instead of weeds. Bare soil invites weeds to grow. So what I like to do is to plant densely. Dense planting shades the soil, reduces available resources, and makes it harder for weed seeds to germinate and thrive. And when weeds do pop up, here's tip number three, weed when the soil is wet. I always try to weed after the rain and right after watering. Wet soil makes a huge difference. The roots come out cleaner, you disturb the soil less, and it's a lot easier in your back. And while you're pulling, here's tip number four, go for the roots. If you don't get the roots, oftentimes the weeds just keep coming back. I love using my hori knife because it helps loosen the soil and cuts underneath the root system without tearing it apart. Especially for stubborn weeds, this makes a big difference. Another thing that's really helped me is tip number five, which is to weed a little but often. Instead of trying to weed the garden in one day, I'll just spend a few minutes on one small section. Sometimes it helps me to set a 15-minute timer to get me motivated, or listen to a few songs and I'm done for the day. Younger weeds are much easier to remove. If you wait too long, the roots get deeper and stronger, and now you're working way harder than you need to. And timing matters too. Here's tip number six. Don't let your weeds go to seed. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned was to pull those weeds before they start flowering and going to seed. Once it starts to seed, you're basically signing up for weeding in the future. More seeds means more weeds. And for those really stubborn areas, here's tip number seven for hot and dry weeding. When it's not raining and it's especially hot and dry, after pulling what I can, I like to use a simple spray to finish off stubborn weeds. It's a simple solution. You probably have most ingredients in your kitchen. I spray a mix of vinegar, dish soap, and table salt. This helps dry the weeds out so it doesn't bounce back. I mainly use this for weeds growing in concrete cracks or hardscaping, places where I'm not worried about nearby plants. This solution isn't selective and will damage any plant it comes in contact with, so spray only what you don't want growing. These small habits will add up over time, and the more consistent you are, the easier it'll be to manage your garden. Just think of weeding as a little bit of garden therapy. If you're overwhelmed, start small and be consistent. Let me know what other things you do to help control weeds in your garden. I would love to hear from you. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next time in the garden. Bye for now.